Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. My name is Rob Murgatroyd, and I am a former doctor turned lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I interview some of the best minds on the planet on the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Today's episode is a mini-sode that we call Fri-Date with the Wife. In these mini-sodes, my wife Kim and I deconstruct the strategies that we've developed over the last decade to not only grow personally, but to turn our struggles into lessons and create fulfillment in all areas of our lives. Excuses are over. It's time to live. Let's dig into today's topic. All right, before we jump into this episode, I want to invite you to be considered for my Work Hard, Play Hard Mastermind by completing an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. So this mastermind is not like any mastermind you may have been to or heard of, I promise you. This mastermind is for 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs that are working too damn much and aren't taking the time to have amazing experiences around the world with an incredible tribe of people. So every 100 days or so, I drop you into new experiences that are specifically designed to elevate your thinking, to give you new ideas. Look, you get your best ideas not staring at a computer. And actually, this is the way high-level people really collaborate with each other. They do it over a glass of champagne, watching the sunset in the south of France. So if you are ready to do some fun stuff around the world and really, really want to level up your tribe in one shot, fill out an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. We'll jump on a call and we'll see if it's a good fit. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Well, Kimberly, who just made the best pizza I've ever eaten in my life, Murgatroyd, how are you?
Well, that's a pretty impressive compliment. I don't think it's true.
It was really amazing.
I mean, it was really good, but it wasn't like the best.
For those of you that don't know, my wife has a love affair with a man that teaches her how to make sourdough bread on the internet. He's a
love affair?
It's a love affair.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, well, listen, you don't need to know his name. You have him chirping that little Irish voice of his in your ears. 2 cups of this and 7/8 of that and 9 meters of this.
That was pretty good, actually.
Not bad, right?
That was pretty good. But, I didn't listen to him today, and that's why my bread came out looking like a foot. That's literally what the bread looked like. But the same dough later worked out really well for pizza. So sourdough bread, it wasn't so good today, but the pizza was phenomenal.
All right, pumpkin spice and everything nice. Kim comes home. She's like, everybody's staring at me today. I don't understand what it is. They're all looking at me. I had a bra on. I mean, what the hell's going on?
True story.
And then some guy's looking and she's like, what the fuck are you looking at? And then he goes, oh.
I'm reading your shirt.
I'm reading your shirt, pumpkin spice and everything nice, which I thought was really funny. Okay, tell me, what are we talking about today? And cheers, by the way. This has been one hell of a day.
One hell of a day.
We're doing this one with a glass of wine because that's just how this one is going down.
This one's how it's going down. So Godspeed to you all. Mm-hmm. I hope you enjoy this.
It's weird because it's 9:00 in the morning, which is strange. But
all right. So today we're going to talk about 2 ends of the emotional scale. If you don't know what the emotional scale is, I don't know, Google it and it'll pop up. It is, don't you think that? I mean, come on, teach a man to fish. He's looking at me like you should give more explanation, but I'm like, Google it.
No, just go ahead.
Just teach a man to fish. So Google it and you will find, we've talked about this before, there's a positive scale and then a negative spiral scale. And the positive spiral scale goes all the way up to joy. The negative spiral scale.
Say that 3 times fast.
Good Lord. Ends at fear. So I thought we could talk about joy and fear because between about 17 books I'm reading or have read, I just had some interesting ways and takeaways from them because here's how you work the emotional scale, right? Like we've talked about this before. Let's say you're in overwhelm. You need to find the next best emotion. You need to work your way up the scale. If you're in fear, that is the worst possible emotion. And, something that I wish I could tell you which book it was, but one of the books that I read, it said fear, I think it's The Untethered Soul. Fear is the basis of all negative things, whether it is hate, whether it is racism, whether it is, any negative, horrible thing going on in the world right now, fear is the root of that thing. And, I thought about it and I was like, God, that is so true. Like any sort of disgruntled or negative emotion is birthed out of fear. And I thought that was just an interesting thing. So, the fear that we go through is something that we have a choice on, right? The Untethered Soul, another thing, they said the ups and downs of life can either inspire personal growth or trigger personal fear. And so when I look at like the pandemic or someone losing a job or whatever that up or down is of your life, you can look at it and say, okay, I'm either going to go into growth here and I'm going to play stupid idea time and I'm going to make the best of it, or I'm going to allow it to trigger my fear and then basically curl in a ball and complain on Facebook. And then I'm going to snooze you because I've snoozed everybody that's a massive complainer. Just
okay,
FYI.
But look, here's the thing. Why does that matter?
Why does what matter? Because fear is the most negative, low vibe emotion you could possibly have. And, what was the other thing? God, this was so good. It was, you don't want that fear, that stressful, resistant thought to be your habitual way of reacting to everything. So think about this. You have a way to react, right? Mm-hmm. It's not what happens, it's how you react to it. So the stressor comes in, doesn't matter what it is. It can be a negative relationship, it can be a negative friendship, it can be a job issue, whatever. God, right now, there's everything. I mean, aliens flying in. Who the hell knows what the hell is happening?
I'd take an alien right now. Are you kidding me?
I would take an alien. I'm pretty sure
I'd get on the rocket ship. I'd go back to his house. Hopefully he's got a nice condo overlooking Mars or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, so you got me with Mars. Okay. So think about all those stressors coming in. You have a habitual way that you react to things. Do you go into the complaining world? Do you put your head under the pillow? Do you? Yes.
Yes, I go into the complaining. I was raised by the original complainer.
The original complainer. But this is the way, this is where you have choice. So you can choose to go into personal development and say, I'm not going to go into the complaint. That doesn't mean don't feel the feeling. That means feel the feeling and then make a decision about how you want to handle it. Don't just sit in it and dwell in the pool of complaints and fear and negative emotion, because that is literally sitting you at the bottom of the emotional scale. Now, on the other side of the emotional scale, the number one, the place you want to be is in joy and love and gratitude. And Wayne, I almost said Wayne Diamond. What's his name? Wayne Dyer.
Dyer.
Oh my God.
Who's dead. He's Dyered for sure.
Okay, Wayne Dyer, not Wayne Diamond.
That's how you're going to remember it.
Okay, Wayne
He's dead. He Dyered.
Wayne Diamond, Rob did an interview. Did you actually post that thing?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my gosh, there's more F-bombs than anything in that. Wayne Diamond, whole different character, very different than Wayne Dyer. So Wayne Dyer
he was in the Adam Sandler movie, Uncut Gems.
Wayne Diamond, not Dyer. Oh my God.
No, but it would be funny if Wayne Dyer was in Uncut Gems because it was filmed after he was dead.
This point.
I digress. It's the wine. Forgive me. Go ahead.
It's the wine. Okay. So Wayne Dyer was talking about joy, and he was like, people often ask, how do you get into that joyous state? How do you bring yourself up to that joyous state? And he said, look at babies. Model babies. Babies have no hair, no teeth. They shit their pants. They have no way to take care of themselves. They couldn't feed themselves if they wanted to, yet they hate nothing. They are the happiest little things on the planet. They giggle at the smallest leaf falling off a tree. And life is great. Model babies, because they are the closest connected to source. And I thought that was so good. Source being God, universe, whatever you want to be.
Because they're fresh. They're fresh out of the factory.
They're fresh out of the factory. They're fresh out of the source factory. And they haven't been hit with all of these, these potential issues with resistance yet. And so model babies. And I thought that was such a good thing, because there's so much, like I look at Sophia sometimes, and there's so much you can learn from kids in their innocence and the way that they look at things and the way that they don't have stress in certain areas and the way that certain things, they're pliable, they're resilient. And I just think we need to be more like that, right? So I know I've been just talking forever, but my biggest thing I think I learned today or in the last couple of days with this is that when that thing happens, that issue arises, you have an option to go into personal growth or to go into fear. And fear is just going to be the bottom of the barrel. And so every time I'm choosing growth, there I'm done.
Okay,
have a good night, everybody. See you later.
See you later.
Wrap it up for me. Okay?
Wrap it up for you. So here's the thing, right? The goal of all of this is to help you guys to manifest more things in your life, right? We are manifestation machines. We just have impulses. We have desires. We want more. We want more. We want more. And it's not bad. And there's nothing we can do about it because it's going to keep coming up. Once we get the thing we want, we realize it wasn't as exciting as we thought it was going to be. And then we're on to the next thing. It's just how we are. So here's the thing. This is what I've learned from Esther. You're not manifesting in the way that you think you are manifesting. Check this out. You're creating the environment that allows the manifestation. You're creating the environment that allows the manifestation. You're not saying, closing your eyes, going, give me a $1 million house, give me $1 million house.
And then it lands on you.
That's not what's happening.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
You're doing what you just described to raise your vibrations into joy, to create the environments that allows it to come in. That was a game changer for me.
It is. And that's the difference between, so this is the part that the movie The Secret kind of like skipped over.
Kept the secret.
Kept a secret. When you watch The Secret, when you watch it, you believe that you just sit on the couch and think about the house, the car, the relationship, whatever, and it shows up. It's not. You have to put yourself, like you said, into the vibration of it and stay there, and then take the steps where you get nudged to work toward that and move toward that. It's about staying in that vibration. And that's, I think, the biggest thing here. And I think probably the toughest thing in 2020 is to not live in fear. And there are so many people that are amazing people that don't typically live in fear, are living in fear. And they're reaching out to me. And then how many of this do you get, Rob? Oh my God, did you guys feel okay traveling? How was it in Mexico? Was it okay? Do you feel safe? Was it okay?
You know,
are you scared?
It's funny you said that. I had one guy, it was funny. I put for our friend Darren's birthday, I had a video of me, you, Darren, and his wife, Tony. We were like singing Work Hard, Play Hard on the beach. So I put I put a video of us in Greece, you know, on my IG story. And I put a big happy birthday. So somebody confused that video with being current. Yeah, us being there. And he sent me this long-winded message, but it started with, it's the only thing that matters in the message. It started with, am I the only one that cares about this virus?
No, yes, you're the only one.
You know,
it was just you.
I had so many reactions to the thing that I did what I always do. I just deleted it. It wasn't even worth it. But so many people are, you know, you sent me a quote, a meme the other day. And it was a great meme. It really got me thinking. And it was, you know why the Amish doesn't have COVID? It's because they don't have television. And, you know, on one hand, you laugh at it. On the other hand, somebody's hands, you realize that there's a lot of truth to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much of this shit are we telling a story that is not serving us, whether
because of fear,
wherever you are on the science, or you don't believe in the science, or you think it's political, or whatever your position is. How much is that story affecting how we are processing this information and how we're moving forward?
See, if somebody wants to say, you know what, I read the science, I believe in the science, I'm going to do my part and all of the things, great. No, knock yourself out. I think that's awesome. But are you doing it from a place of fear? That's the problem. So the moment you put yourself in fear, it actually lowers your immune system. And there's a million other things that fear triggers in your body. Not to mention, just if you're trying to manifest anything, place you need to be at is joy. You're not going to manifest your way out of 2020 in massive fear. And so if you want to be in the camp of, and by the way, this is not a COVID thing, and I didn't mean it to turn into a COVID thing, but
well, I'm ramped up. So if you want to go there, I'll go there with you.
I don't want you to go there. But what I want to say is look at what you're currently afraid of. Look at the way you've changed your life. Look at the different things in your life. Is it job? Is it relationship? Is it your body? Is it whatever? Are these things coming from a place of fear? Because if they're coming from a place of fear, you need to handle that. You need to journal. You need to meditate. You need to listen to a book that is going to pull you out of it. You need to get into a mastermind or a group of people that are uplifting and that are focusing on the positive. You got to stop the scroll hole. You got to snooze all of the crazy people and the nonstop posts about everything. You have to lift yourself and lift your vibration out of fear. I'm not saying like whether it's the virus or whatever else that you don't continue to quarantine or whatever you personally feel is necessary. I'm saying don't do it from a place of fear. I'm choosing specifically to live in joy, and that is the point. Yeah,
your point is taken. I wish that I can tell you that I am, perfect at that, and I'm 100% at it. You know what's interesting?
No one's perfect at that.
As you're sort of describing this, I'm realizing that I really have no issues whatsoever with, fear or anxiety around COVID per se and my health. I don't. I guess because I'm healthy and I'm young, it's just not something that I'm concerned about. What I do have to battle is what's going on in the worlds of lockdown around me and how everybody is being affected by the lockdown and the, sort of like low grade, low level stress, sometimes really high level panic that's around. And, it's sad because I go out to dinner the other night and I'm sitting next to, this table. And, it was clearly a group of friends that, haven't seen each other for a while because they've been in quarantine and they really wanted to, connect with each other. And they couldn't they wouldn't hug each other. The handshake has now gone into a fist bump, and it's become super, super, those kinds of things are the things that I have the most trouble battling with. Those are the things that are upsetting me the most. And I have to, when you're describing get more into joy, those are the things that are giving me the hardest challenge of getting into joy.
So here's the thing with that. I look at that. Those are their decisions. That's how they're choosing to handle it. And guess what? But they're still out. They're still sharing a bottle of wine. They're still at dinner and enjoying their life. And I don't think that you're putting it on you. You're probably looking at them and somehow putting this on yourself and making this about your freedom because you value freedom at such a high level that looking at little things like that really bother you. The mask police really bother you because you look at it as an attack on your freedom. And I think that's what sends you into panic. Whereas I look at that group and I'm like, that's great. They're doing what they're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to force someone who I don't want them to live in fear and me going, just hug them. That could be fearful, but maybe they went up to the line that they're okay with.
We're saying the same thing. What I'm saying is that everybody has, I was trying to give an example of what I'm battling in terms of stepping into joy. Somebody else isn't battling that. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, right now, with everything that's going on, I can give you my entire list of things that I don't feel joyful about, that I am doing the best I can to get into joy over. And those things are not going to be on somebody else's list.
So how are you doing it though?
Well, here's how I'm doing it. I'm glad you asked. The reason why, the way I'm doing it is it's a slow process that I have to do every single day. And Esther gave a great example of how to do it. And I think it works. So I'll use an example of Hawaii. A lot of people, have either been to Hawaii or have certainly seen it on television. If you are in Hawaii and you're walking down the street, you can sort of like look over at the, the flowers, the bougainvillea, and you can be like, oh my God, that is just so beautiful, and see the magic of those purple flowers. And you could look, to your left and you could see the ocean, and you can say, my God, that ocean is beautiful, and look at those waves and look at that sand, and that's incredible. And you could look at the sunset and you could see the dolphins. And around all of us, there are things that we can step into joy if we allow ourselves to step into joy.
If I'm thinking right now of the person that's listening, and maybe you're sitting there and you're in fear. You're in fear financially. You're in fear maybe for your health. You're in fear for the direction that maybe our country or our world is taken. There's a lot of fears there. But if you adopt the affirmation of everything is always working out for me, and you try to see the path that maybe this is happening for a reason. We talked about this on previous podcasts about finding a silver lining. And you try to see that path. And maybe it's really hard to see for you. Maybe it's you or your spouse or lost your job and you need something else. Try to look at this contrast as something to provide clarity and to move you closer and to not sit in fear. The point is to get out of that fear-based emotion and just, even if you go up the scale just a little bit to anger. Anger is better than fear. Overwhelm is better than fear. Boredom is better than fear. Just get yourself out of the fear. And one of the things that I think Wayne Dyer said was a simple act of kindness is going to improve serotonin, and not just the person receiving the simple act of kindness, but the person extending it. So if you want to get out of fear, maybe get into service. If you want to get out of fear, then take the focus off of you and put it on someone else, and call somebody else and ask them about their day and how you could help them. There are so many organizations right now that need people and that are looking for help. Get out of your own fear and move into service, which will move you into gratitude, which will eventually work yourself up to joy.
Yeah, look, I mean, the point in doing this podcast is not to sit here on, on my perch and tell you like, I got this covered and, super positive and everything is great.
No, we're doing this ourselves every day.
We're doing the best we can every single day. There are times where we're like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, really? So we are using these tools to, I'm going to put the word force out there, to force ourselves into a state of joy. And then once you're in that state, it's not that hard to stay there until you get knocked out of state again. So we're all going through some tough times right now, and hopefully some of these tools will help you to stay in joy. And speaking of tools, we will be launching soon. We don't have a launch date yet, but we'll be launching soon our first ever Stupid Idea Time Masterminds. And if you are interested in being a part of that, just shoot us a little message. We're putting together a list. We're only going to take a small group of people, maybe, 20 or 30 people max, so we can keep it intimate and private. But basically, if you're in a situation in your life where you feel like you're a bit trapped and you want to do something new, but you don't know exactly what the heck it is, we're going to play Stupid Idea Time with you, and we're going to run you through our 7-step Stupid Idea Time process that worked for us. So before I go, Kim, do you have any final words, suggestions, or an ask for your listeners?
The only ask that I have is, if you are living day-to-day in fear right now and you can't get out of it, reach out to somebody else and connect with them, and don't stay in alone. I'm just seeing a lot of people retract into their own little, self-pity party. And that's not where we're meant to be. We're meant to connect. So whether it's by Zoom, FaceTime, or whatever, connect to another human. And
we can be your human too. Connect to us. We have connected with lots of people, and we'd love to connect with you too. We're good connectors. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. All right, thanks for listening. If you love this episode and you know someone that needs some help in either stepping up their work hard game or their play hard game, it would mean the world to me if you shared this podcast with them to help me get this movement out there. So if you like what you heard, head on over to iTunes, take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. So until the next episode, excuses are over. It's time to live.